screen in the back, the touchpad. You can use the analog sticks to move around, and it's kind of an action-adventure and puzzle game. They're going to be recycled and turned into gloop, and turned into minions and sheep for a bad guy, and you've got to escape and get out, basically, before that happens. So our initial levels, part of the thing we're doing with the intro to the game is also kind of helping people explore and learn, understand the Vita. The Vita is a new device that people are going to have in their hands for the very first time, and so we want to make sure that we spend time both people learning the game, but then also learning how they're going to hold the device itself and then interact with the world, both the front and the back, just by using the different inputs and interface. Our characters are very squishy too, so little here, if he just trips over this brick, he's gonna bite it. And we learn pretty quickly that every time we die in the game, our characters are gonna get marked. If you look here, Little is now marked with a big number 1 on his chest because he's died. So we have to learn that we've got to clear a path for him as he goes through the game in order to get out. Here, I'm gonna have to push this out of the way, push this bed out of the way. I could also run Little over with the bed if I pushed it from the back. So here's one of the back tap rooms. We learned that just by knocking on the back of the device here, we can push stuff out. Push that up here. And clear a path for Little. You have to make sure that all of them have been pushed out appropriately, otherwise he's going to eat it. So everything in the world is interactable, so I can push on the front and push on the back. Here we've been showing back tap, and now we show back tap with timing, so I've got to figure out how long that thing's going to be out so I can safely get across. We also have a lot of collectibles in the game, so here we have a little sign in the background that I can pick up. And then I've got that collectible then in my wallet basically for the rest of the game. There's also different stars that the player can collect in terms of how well they do in the game. So if you escape without dying, you're very efficient in how many times you swipe and touch the interface. You can get a very clean escape and you'll get multiple stars. Here we're learning Little's first ability, which is he can have coffee, and that gets him nice and wired, and that gives him the ability to run. So if I just try to walk through here without using it, he's going to get splatted. So you learn pretty quickly it's a very foreboding place that they're in, that you need to really think about and look at the different hints that are there for you to understand maybe what you need to do. So here it's telling you need to squeeze. And I can run. So here we run into large. If we just back tap on the device here, we can knock his cage on the conveyor belt. The problem is, though, we've just sent him into this giant furnace. The sheep's trying to run out, but so I'm gonna grab this giant lever and throw the conveyor belt in the other direction. Wait till that sheep goes by. Pick up a collectible. Oops. There we go. So now I've got Large on his way out and Little as well, and I've stopped the production of the plant. So Bokuki is going to get really frustrated and upset now that these characters are not going to go into his minions. Do a couple squeeze puzzles here. Here we're introduced to minions as well. They're busy killing sheep here. Up here in the corner is our bad guy. He's just getting frustrated that you're on your way out. Now, one of the things we do using back tap is kind of distracting creatures. So I'm going to tap this cage from the back of the device here. And I can look around the level and see I have these little sheep here. And I can scare them with back taps and see that, oh, that's going to be dangerous. And I have to cross that, so I line it up, back touch, and I can get Large out. So maybe I can get him over here. they're smart enough, they're not going to always go where you want them. There you go. So we also give some like basic hints to the player. If they get stuck for a while and they're not sure what they're supposed to do, we're going to bring up some context-sensitive hints, and that kind of shows what they can do. We can look down here and see that there's a mattress. Little's been waiting, so we do our forward swipe. Land softly on the mattress, and we can then swipe him out. Large also has a wall smash ability, which is cool. You can just swipe forward and bust him through the wall. We can also search the room and find more collectibles. Then if players get a little bit too cocky and they think, oh, I can just butt smash through everything. You need to think ahead a little bit, as the rooms are going to get a little bit more complex, and sometimes we play tricks on the player and remind them that they need to investigate a little bit more before they just jump ahead. There we go. Like that. Players can also select the icons to control the different characters, or they can use the shoulder buttons as well. The players can take their time and go through levels, but they can also experiment. And there's always a reward in death as well. It's not always just, you know, a setback, as sometimes it's actually kind of entertaining to see what happens when you play with some of the experiments. So here I'm actually going to set Little on his way and try and clear the path before we can get out. Hopefully not fry him in the process. Another ability we have is for Little. He can also inflate, so I just tap on this gas tank here, wrap his lips around it, start sucking on the gas, and inflate. And then you release, and then you can actually use the tilt on the device to kind of steer him